Okay, so we're shooting. We're down here at Coleman. It has a new product called Esky. This is the Esky series cooler, and we're here talking to Todd. Todd is about to tell us all about Esky and why this cooler is better than anything on the market. Is that right?
That is right. So what makes Esky series coolers unique is that they hold ice longer than any cooler on the market, up to 44% longer depending on the size. We are a brand of the Coleman Company, so we've been making coolers for more than 60 years. It helps when you have that much heritage and history because we have a lot of engineering resources and a lot of credibility in the space. We do all of our own ice retention testing internally, but then we also send the coolers out and have them independently verified. So ice retention is key in this particular space. Guys that are using these for extended periods are looking for them to hold ice as long as possible, and that's really what makes Esky series coolers unique. They're also packed with a ton of great features. I think one of the things I'm most proud of with this line is they're all 100% made in the USA. So they're all made in Kansas. They also come with a 6-year full manufacturer's warranty, so they're super, super durable. So to just kind of walk through the features, in this particular market, there's really two pillars to the foundation of the space. One of them's ice retention, one of them's extreme durability. Ice retention and extended ice retention comes from a handful of things. One of them is the overall design of the cooler as far as the shape goes. You'll notice that Esky series coolers are a little bit deeper front to back and a little bit deeper top to bottom, not quite as elongated. That helps keep the contents close to the center. You can see we've clipped to the corners in an effort to try and keep the contents as close to a cube as possible. Obviously, freezer gaskets are critical. You need to be able to stop any airflow into or out of the cooler, and the freezer gasket does that. With the Esky design, the freezer gasket with the cork fit lid and the liner ridge in conjunction really seal tightly when you get them closed. And then the recessed rubber latches, no catch rubber latches, keep the lid securely tightened. And then they're also recessed so that no dock lines or lines inside a boat can get caught on that and create any damage down the road. So, a couple other features on the inside of the cooler I'll point out. Antimicrobial additive in both the liner and the cutting board. It's the only super cooler on the market that includes an antimicrobial liner. That's important for people that put game meat or fish inside their cooler. You can get that kind of fish funk and that stink going on, and an antimicrobial additive will keep that any mold, mildew, or fungus from growing on the actual liner itself. You can see the cutting board right here that I mentioned earlier. It stores inside the lid. We designed this specifically with these rubber feet to align with the geometry on the lid. That way, if you're using it as a cutting platform in the back of your boat, the feet lock in, and it gives you a nice stable cutting surface. That way, if you're in rough seas, you're not moving all over the place with your table. Simply rinse it off. Like I mentioned, it's hit with the antimicrobial additive. When you're done with it, rinse it off, slide it right back in, and it stays out of your way so that you're not, the way cutting boards used to work is they always acted as dividers. So as soon as you pull them out and all the ice collapsed, you can never get them back in, and they end up on the top of the cooler in your way. So we designed it up here so it stays out of your way.
Brilliant.
All the coolers come with a rubber-coated wire basket stock. Handful of other features that just come included or not aftermarket. One of them is the dual drain cap you see here. This is great because you can hook a standard hose thread to it as well. But if you're using one of the large coolers, either the 135 or the 205 quart, it's got a really large 2-inch gate mouth so you can exit the contents quickly. The hose attachment is great because obviously these coolers can get very, very heavy either in a boat or in a truck, and often you want to let the water out without removing it from either your boat or back of your truck. If you do have game fish in there or something, fish slime, being able to hook a hose up to it and drain it outside into the water or outside and not get all dunked up in the back of the compartment is awesome.
Smart.
Yeah. Tie-down points are critical. We designed these to be underneath the lid right here, so you can tie it down with a standard strap. This is great because you can keep the cooler tied down and still operate and access the lid. It used to be that you had to strap a cooler over top of the lid, and every time you wanted to get inside, you had to unstrap it. So we thought it was great to be able to design the cooler specifically so you can access it and keep it locked down.
Love it. Very well thought out.
One of the other things I mentioned earlier was extreme durability. So these coolers have to absolutely take a beating. You often will see coolers with in this particular space with the grizzly bear certification. That's only relevant, that certification, in kind of the northern states. But what that speaks to is the durability of the product. You get extended durability from thick wall blow mold construction, large knuckle integrated hinge you can see here. Number one fail point on a cooler is always going to be your hinge, and it's typically where the screws attach into the cooler. So on this particular series of coolers, we removed all of the fasteners. There are no screws in this entire product. This large knuckle integrated hinge you see here has stainless steel hinge pins, which are great in saltwater environments because they keep the product from developing any corrosion or rust over time. And then with these large knuckles, you can see here, it's super, super durable case. The latches that I mentioned earlier, a really strong TPE, the lock in place. So once you get the lid closed in place, get the latches on, padlock slots here and here. Not only important for securing your contents if you leave them in the boat overnight or in the truck overnight, but also great for durability. Once you get this lid locked on with the locks, virtually indestructible case. You can kick this thing out the back of the truck going 60 miles an hour, tumble to a stop, and everything's still in one piece.
Like the lock feature.
Yeah. A couple of other interesting features. One of them is the non-skid rubber feet you see on the bottom. So you can see these the non-marking as well if you're in often boats or light colored floors or white floors. And then the last one is it's got a bottle opener integrated in here too. So you just kind of pop the top off your bottle for those that are using them for beverages instead of game.
Love it. Well, that sold me.
So yeah, that's
bottle opener.
Yeah, the bottle opener is it. That was the tipping point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super popular. It's a great series. We've got 4 sizes. You can see the stack back here. The 55 is our smallest. The 85 quart, 135, and then a 205 quart. Those are true quart sizes, so they're the actual internal size of the product. Yeah, that's about that pretty much covers kind of the features and benefits. The new product we're launching at the show this year are the seat cushions. You can see this is an 85 quart model right here, mounts to the top of the lid. I've got one installed on a cooler right back here, the 135 quart. You can see they come with a snap kit that self-installs with just a screwdriver. It doesn't require any drilling at all. These are super popular in the marine environments because they turn your cooler, your storage, into a seat in your boat.